Looking to enhance the appeal and performance of your gym with state-of-the-art equipment? Look no further than the Gym Administrator. Founded by Sal Corrente, professional wrestling manager, promoter, and author of the great book Bruno Sammartino, the autobiography of wrestling's living legend, available on Amazon.com, the Gym Administrator will spot you on that final rep and assist you every step of the way from purchase through installation, whether it be strength training, cardiovascular training, or performance enhancement. The Gym Administrator works with a wide array of leading vendors and suppliers, carefully selected to meet the diverse needs of your clientele. Service the way you remember it. Contact us at 914-494-1066 or visit our website at thegymadministrator.com, as well as all social media platforms. The Gym Administrator. All your fitness needs under one roof. Scan the barcode at the bottom of the screen to get started today.
All right, welcome back to Long Island's number one pro wrestler broadcast, Monte Pharaoh. Only seen here out of Tin Mirror Studios in Kings Park, Long Island. Over, not in Wahoo's Saloon, but over at The Gathering is the great Jimmy Pharaoh. Jimmy, how are you, bud?
I'm at The Gathering. Help, I'm in North Carolina. Where am I?
Jimmy, before we get going, because I want to know everything that's going on right now. I'm glad you're on location. I want to remind everybody next week we've got DDP. We'll be on Long Island's number one pro wrestling broadcast. And then the following week, even Jimmy, I'm not going to tell you who it is, but we've got a big surprise for you the following week. Huge surprise.
A big surprise for me, not for you, not for us, for me.
For me, you, but I think it's exciting and different.
Yeah.
So I got to tell you, right? My wife, before we get going, she shows me this video. Again, I guess it's old news. I don't know where. It's probably old, but it was about this girl on. What is that movie? What is it? What's the program where people try to become famous? American Idol. Not American Idol, the other one. The one Stern was on. What is that, Abe? Yeah, America's Got Talent. So they had this girl Nightbird on, and she
Nightbird.
Yeah, and she had pretty much terminal cancer, right? And she sings, and I'm watching this before the show. And at the end, like Simon Cowell is crying, and I got to tell you, I don't know what it was, Jimmy, but it made me think of you, right? Because it was like this girl had tons of talent, Jimmy, tons of talent. And when I mean think of you, I started thinking about like Jim Morrison, right? For some reason now, when I connect you with Morrison in my head, and I said to my wife, I think some people are born to burn out. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah. Yeah, some people are.
And I looked at this girl and I said, she was born to die, but born to burn out because she was so ultrally talented.
Interesting. Well, there's been a lot of examples of it, at least when it comes to music. Look at Mozart. Mozart died very young. Morrison died very young. A lot have died very young. Hendrix died very young. Joplin's died very young. Cobain, there's been a lot of them, unfortunately. But I remember you telling me the other day, to make light of it, apparently I'm going to live about 50 years past Keith Richards, so we shouldn't worry too much about me.
Well, but again, I wasn't saying you're going to pass away, but I always
Yeah.
I connect you to Morrison. I guess there to me is a
Right.
connection with you and
Yeah.
Jim Morrison, especially.
There
Look,
is.
we've known each other for a very long time, right? And I've always connected you to certain things, but not more recently, but I'd say more permanently, for lack of a better term, is I hook you up with like Morrison now, if that makes sense.
Hmm. Well, I appreciate that because lately, everybody does is call me Ozzy Osbourne. So I appreciate the Morrison thing. I used to hear that when I was younger. Now I hear
Well,
Ozzy.
dude,
So I'm all sorts of confused.
I think today's generation. I mean, we were talking about baseball, wrestling, whatever. Today's generation doesn't recognize. They don't know who. I hate to say this, they don't know who Jim Morrison is. I mean, you would be hard. I think if you asked anyone 30 or younger who's Jim Morrison, I'd say you might get lucky to get 50%. You think that's a little
What
low?
is it? What is it? We have Abe right there in the studio. What does Abe think about that? Do people his age and under know about Jim Morrison? Know who he is?
What do you think, Abe? He does. But like I would think
Okay.
Abe would though. You know what I mean? It's not
Right.
like I would
Right.
like Abe would not be that guy. Like
Right. Well, understand this, Mike. Jim Jim thrived from 1967 to 1971, pretty much. Okay, that was his career. That was when the whole world got to know who he was. Don't forget, it's almost 20 years later when the Doors film by Oliver Stone is made. A whole nother generation rediscovers him. Uh, those kids and those grandkids. At this point, there's grandchildren who got turned on to the Doors. When the Doors movie came out in '91, if they saw their father into it, they're into it. I think music like the Doors or like the Beatles, or maybe you could cross into other, you know what? You can cross into other genres. If you're great at what you did, especially in the music field, you're probably going to get remembered way past our lifetime. I think Jim Morrison will be studied in colleges 100 years from now, is what I'm trying to tell you.
what I guess my point to what I'm trying to say, Jimmy, I like again, look, it's definitely a sensitive subject for like you or myself or right someone that loves certain things. I mean, it's almost unforgivable not to know who the Beatles are, right? Like that, like if
Right.
someone said, "Who are the Beatles?" I'd be like, "Are you
Yeah,
out of your
that's
effing mind?" Or
right.
like our friend Evan Ginsberg, who doesn't like the Beatles, right? Again, I
Mm,
could imagine people not liking something, but not liking the Beatles. I mean,
right.
I could understand not liking certain songs, certain things, but the Beatles it's I don't know. But anyway, the reason I bring it up is like after watching this, I just thought to myself, like, some people are just here on this earth to change people for the better. They're brought here.
Hmm.
And we'll talk about. I want to get into where you are now, but I want to talk about this because we're going to get a little. Dude, we're going 2 hours, right? We're not breaking the show up. We were supposed to have a
Okay.
guest on, and look, I'm not going to start anything about the guest, but like I set this up 2 weeks ago. She was all in. She was all excited, and then all of a
Right.
sudden she goes dark on me, and it's like I message you and I call you, and I'm like, hey, I just
Yeah.
need to know if you're coming on. That's all I
Right.
need to know. It's a yes or no. And
Hmm.
it's like, you don't call me back. It's like, we're not some little schmucky show here, all right? And it's like,
Right.
show some fucking respect. I got to be honest with you, really, you
Well,
know?
now you return serve. You put that number on what we call the circular file.
Well, I would never call again, ever.
You
I mean,
understand what I'm
again,
saying?
it's a child of a semi-famous wrestler who really didn't make a difference
All
in the
right.
business anyway. So I'll be honest with you. So I don't know how else to say it.
There he goes.
Well, listen, I'm being honest. You know what I mean? Look, I wanted to
Say
get a
his
bridge.
name,
I wanted to
and
get a
he
bridge.
appeared. I believe in Mike Monte.
Very good.
I believe in Mike Monte.
There you go.
How great is Joe Hendry, man?
I told
How
you,
great
dude.
is
I
Joe
told
Hendry?
you, right? I told
You
you.
did. No, you did. And I don't know if you heard about this. I'm sorry to like ad lib a little, Mike, but I saw something this morning. Very interesting about Joe Hendry. History has actually been kind of made, from what I read this morning. Joe Hendry is not only is it okay for him to be under TNA contract? It's okay for him to do independent shows. It's okay for him to work at NXT. This has all been agreed upon. It's okay for him to take his name wherever he wants. And it's okay for him to train at the NXT Center. Something very important happened today. Now, will this apply to others? Quite possibly. Very interesting. I found this very interesting. So Joe Hendry might have just helped change the business for perhaps wrestlers in the future with where they get to go and what they get to do. And, look, times they are changing. Bob Dylan sang about it years ago and people went, Rah! Well, maybe this is the times changing. This is very interesting to me, Mike.
Well,
might have to wind up believing in Joe Hendry.
You might have to believe in Joe Hendry. Oh, by the way, we haven't had a chance to talk because you have been busy. We're going to get to where Jimmy is right now because I'm very excited for it.
Where am I?
But we're now no longer fighting with Lee Cole, and Okay. All right. So Lee Cole and I have broke bread, and we've sat down and we've discussed things, and we've cleared the air, and everything is good between.
Say his name. He disappears. They so long to Joe Lowry.
There you go, baby. That's all that had to happen, right? Thank you for doing that.
I did it for you.
That's all that had to happen. All right.
There you go.
Jimmy got on a plane this morning from beautiful Florida with his beautiful wife, Miss Karen McDaniel. And I call her Karen McDaniel
my beautiful plane ride with my beautiful wife.
Again, I call her Karen McDaniel because I would like to call her Karen Pharaoh, but Pharaoh said call her Karen McDaniel. I follow the Pharaoh's rules.
It's Karen Pharaoh McDaniel if you listen to Zach's pronunciation at the I do's.
I think that's what I'll do for now on Karen Pharaoh McDaniel.
Karen Pharaoh McDaniel.
So Jimmy, along with his beautiful wife, are now at the Gathering in the Carolinas, one of the biggest pro wrestling shows where Jimmy will be representing Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast. I do know for a fact that many wrestlers have reached out to me, and they're very excited to see Jimmy because they haven't seen Jimmy in a long time. So I'm assuming next week where we have the great DDP, and at some point me and Jimmy will probably look at some pictures of Jimmy rocking the house. I think it's 4 days of fun, right? You're there today, tomorrow, Saturday,
yeah, we better start snapping. I've already blown several picture opportunities. I'm not even thinking about it.
All right, so like a quarterback, I'm going to hand the ball off to my star running back. Let's fill in everybody. What's going on at the Gathering, my friend?
Well, everybody's just checking in right now at this point, but it's just a sea of names just walking past me left and right. It was kind of funny. On a more personal level, first, I'll get to we got here, we get to the room, and all of a sudden there's somebody there, they're working upstairs, they're drilling. So I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, I got to listen to drills for the whole weekend. So that's already got me off on the wrong foot. But we found out that they're going to be off on the weekend. So I just got to deal with drilling for another 24 hours. Mike, by the way, when you book something and you come and you hear drilling above, are you going to be angry? Because I was pretty angry.
I would be pretty pissed off. I would say switch my room. But I can't imagine, dude, that they're going to be drilling through the night.
There's no rooms to switch. This place is sold out.
Oh,
there's no rooms to even get here at the Hilton. No, they're not. They stop at 5:30, and tomorrow they'll do it one more day. I'll deal with it, but I'll be on the floor with Karen anyway. I won't be around to hear that crap, and then they'll break. But who have I seen so far? Let me see. I saw Sandman outside when I was having the cigarette. I had several cigarettes with Cowboy Bob Orton, who loves cigarettes.
Which, by the way, we were talking beforehand. I am shocked that Cowboy Bob Orton smokes. I was very shocked.
Yes. Well, if it makes you feel better, he smokes Marlboro Lights, from what I could tell.
Okay.
So basically, I'm sitting there with the non-filtered 1945 special, and there he is with the Marlboro Lights. But I saw him, Sandman. I'm trying to figure out. The Nasty Boys. That was interesting. I was at the bar, and the Nasty Boys came by, and Sags remembered us big time. He was like, "What's up, bro?" So that was interesting.
Awesomeness.
I've had several people yell, "Hey, Pharaoh," which is nice. That was a little strange. Several people have come up and acknowledged that they listened to the show and stuff. I found that surprising. I'm not as much paying attention to the world out there as you are, so I find it a little surprising. It's very nice to hear. Trying to think of what else. I finally got to meet Barbara Goodish, Bruce Brody's widow. She is awesome. Karen and Barbara and her friends, and they're all at the bar right now, which I stopped to do because I'm loyal to the show.
Well,
I walked away from a beer, and Karen and Barbara. What the hell? Anyway,
I'm trying to imagine it, Jimmy. I'm thinking, here you are at the bar, and it's just got to be filled with wrestlers, right? And let me
Yeah,
ask you this
it
question
is.
though. Like, are the
It is.
fans all sitting on the outside looking in? Are they trying to like interrupt? Like, what's going on there?
I haven't seen too much of that. Not really. I mean, everybody's just coming in right now. It's very casual right now. I'm sure it will feel much more convention-like tomorrow, if you know what I mean. Everybody's just coming in right now. So I haven't seen that much of it. Eric Sims was the first person I did see, though, by the way. And it was really nice to see him. He was very nice to me. It was nice to see Sims. Absolutely.
Dude, I'm
You
going to
know?
tell you, you're going to have the best time. Like I said, I'm going to guarantee that fans will be going crazy for you there.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
it to be a fact. Real quick before we get started, Jimmy, it's been a while. We've been doing a lot of interviews and stuff like that. I just want to name out the chat on YouTube. Jason, good to see you as always. Beth,
What's up, Jay?
how are you, Beth?
What's up? What's up?
Benny
What's up, Beth?
Scala, who has been nothing but a godsend to the channel. He's one of the hardest
Benny.
workers around. He does a show
Yeah.
with you, the
Oh, yeah.
Baseball Bums. Fantastic show
Yeah.
on Sunday. I keep telling people, 8 o'clock. These two know their shit. It's good stuff, man. Foxy,
Thank you.
always great to see you. Running
Foxy.
down the list
Foxy.
here. The beautiful First Lady of Wrestling, Maria Davis. I got to tell you,
Ah,
without
Maria.
being insulting, Maria, or sexist, you are one of the most beautiful women I've ever laid my eyes on. I got to tell you, she's got the face of an angel, man. Unbelievable.
Hey, Mike, do me a favor. Check in the chat. I want to ask Maria a question because Maria sometimes will Facebook me and say thank you with a heart, and I don't know if she's sending it just to send it. I've never seen that before.
Well, are you commenting on her pictures?
I know that I've talked to her from time to time on Messenger, but when I get those, I get confused. I feel bad. I'm like, maybe I haven't checked in with Maria. What does this thank you with the heart mean? Am I on some sort of auto set? I was trying to figure it out.
I would
So
have
is
I would have to
Maria-
think you might be commenting on her Facebook pictures, and then she
Okay.
gets it on a message, and it comes over on your messenger.
Oh, because I was like trying to figure that out. I was like, is she trying to tell me I should write more often? Because she's probably right.
Matt
She's probably
Sharkey,
right. It's
Matt
just-
Sharkey in the house. Matt is one of the more brilliant people out
Sharky,
there.
what's up?
Isban,
Shark?
always great to see you, my friend.
Isban.
Jay Will, the boy, the man, the
Oh,
myth,
Jay
the
Will,
legend. Boy, we
He's
got
a
some
legend,
legendary people. There's the great Dan Sebastiano in the house.
Ah.
Again,
Dan's a genius.
so I
by the
could
way.
share this real quick. Jimmy called me, goes, don't ever go
You
on
idiot.
Wrestle Test
Idiot.
again. And I'm
Why?
like, Jimmy, you don't understand. He's like, no, I don't want to hear it. You suck. And I'm like, no, it's not fair, Jimmy. You didn't give me the opportunity. My shit wasn't working. And here's the other thing. I do have inside information. Sebastiano and President Phil sit there and they hit the button like just before the question's even
is
answered.
that what they
Yeah,
do?
because,
Really?
not to be insulting to Benny, they know Benny really can't answer anything, right? So they're basically between themselves, whoever gets it, and if they get it wrong, they're okay.
Wow.
Dude, there was someone on the chat that said, "Get Benny out of there. He doesn't ever answer the question." And that's not
Are you
fair to
serious?
Benny. Yeah, but it's not fair to Benny. To be honest with you,
That is
Phil
not
and Dan
fair.
are just hammering the button. Again, Phil
but
Phil knows his wrestling and Dan knows his wrestling. But I can tell you,
but
good.
oh, no, I was just gonna say, but here's the other problem, though, Mike. And it's also who you're playing the game with. Because to me, I don't think this is a stretch. Name the weight of Sid Vicious when he was 4. Dan Sebastiano, 23 and a half pounds. Correct. I mean, the things that these guys know, I can't.
Are you
say
trying?
that.
Are you trying to say the nerd radar is like peaking
Dude,
out at 10?
I mean, Fonzie would be coming in the room going, "Hey, what are we?" It's just,
So
it's not a knock. What it is that apparently they've had plenty of absorption
I
going on over
gotta
the years.
share.
Not as much as me, obviously.
Jimmy says to me, "Don't ever go on there. You're
you
supposed to
look
be
like a
representing the show. You look like an
Right.
idiot." And I'm like,
Right.
"Dude, it's not
And-
fair. I'm telling
Right.
you, I can fight these guys. I can."
Right.
No, don't go on the show.
yes.
Mitch Seinfeld in the house again. Mitch Seinfeld, boy, that guy. I love Mitch.
Right.
I love Mitch. But
Mitch is great.
But I got to tell you, but we'll get into it during the show. I hope Mitch hangs on. Mitch wears Jew glasses.
What?
Jew glasses.
What does that mean?
That means
Oi,
any Jewish person out there,
what?
Mitch supports, except for Sims, by the way.
But I support Mitch. I don't wear Jew glasses. What are you talking about?
No, you know how you wear like
What?
rose.
I don't even know
You
what
know
Jew
how
glasses
you
are.
rose-colored glasses. You look at something a certain way.
Yeah.
Mitch is a very religious.
Oh, wait a second. Are you saying that he wears Jew-colored glasses?
Yes, thank you. That's the better
What are you
terminology.
getting at?
So
Let me tell you something. I saw one of his recent posts, and I agree with it 5,000%.
no.
Mr. Monte.
When you're
So,
talking
what are you getting at?
politics and Jewish religion, that's different. I'm talking about
Okay.
the nonsense of wrestling. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay.
you know what I mean. Mitch loves
What,
the
like
Jewish.
Barry Horowitz? should have been a
Yes,
world
yes.
champion?
He likes the Jewish wrestlers.
Oy,
He likes the
oy,
Jewish
come on
wrestlers.
now.
The Jewish
Holy
wrestlers could go.
Kabbalah,
They can't
Batman.
go wrong. The Jewish wrestlers can't
Okay.
go wrong.
All right. Well,
I gotta tell you,
he's
I gotta tell you, Mitch has
partial
become
to his
one.
people.
He's become one of
It's
my
okay.
he's become one of my closer friends. He's an
Mitch is a
intelligent
nice guy. You know
He
what?
is.
You know
he
what's
is.
funny, Mike? You'll laugh at this, but remember a couple of years back, I doubt you remember, but there was some awesome pizza restaurant somewhere out in Nassau or something like that. And Mitch came with us. And then there was another time we hung out, and Mitch, you had a split, and Mitch asked me if I wanted to go eat with him, and I really had to go somewhere. And I, to this day, still feel bad about that because I didn't really get to know Mitch the way you have. Mitch seems really cool.
He's
That's what I'm saying.
first of all, on a business
You know?
end, I got the utmost
Yeah.
respect for the guy. And
Oh, he's a
you know,
genius.
me and him,
Yeah.
politic wise, are on the same side, and even on the religious side, we're on the same side.
Yeah.
But there's sometimes
Yeah.
we'll disagree with each other. But the one thing I like about it is we listen to each other and we don't argue about it. Right? It's like we just rap
Right.
about it. I enjoy my conversations with Mitch because he's intelligent. He knows his things. But I got again. But he's, I got to be honest with you. I respect the fact that he stands by his religion as strongly as he does. I love that.
Well,
like, you know how I feel
he
about
ha-
religion
he
and how
has
you
to.
feel about religion, right?
He has to. It's open season. I mean, I don't want to get too far into it, but yeah, it's open season. Thank God somebody like Mitch is saying things that make sense. You know, because nowadays we're not living in a world that's making much sense.
No, that's
so
true.
I'll take whatever
This is
sense
true.
I can get.
This is true.
You know, so well done, Mitch Seinfeld. Well done. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Boy,
all right,
boy,
brother.
boy. Where
So
am I?
here
I'm
we
in a
go.
hotel room, Mike. You gotta help.
We're moving on. We're going to talk about
ahead.
SummerSlam. We're going to do our predictions. We did them on ESPN this week. And by the way, I do
Yes.
love that spot with Coach, man. I enjoy us on that show together. I got to
Dude,
tell
they
you,
love us over there. They love us over there. We're doing nothing but a good thing. They very much enjoy having us on ESPN over there. It's very good.
I really look forward
All
to
good.
it, dude.
It's great. Coach is great. He's great. I love Coach.
Very
and I love
talented.
Hayes, by the way. Hayes is really enjoying us too.
Hayes rocks,
You know,
dude. Hayes rocks.
You know, it's funny. It's Hayes' that's really Hayes' show. He does it every afternoon from 4 to 6 on 104.3 down in Panama City Beach. He's been doing it for a long time now.
Wow.
But he really, I've loved watching his enthusiasm for wrestling get stronger every time we're on. He loves it. He loves having us, man.
I got to tell you,
Doing good.
I love the dynamic, and it's a fun show. We laugh. It's a good
Yeah.
time. All right, so we
Yep.
got wrestling to do, but I really want to hit some news items with you because it's pretty important, okay?
All right, news items.
Olympic organizers apologize after the Last Supper comparison spark issues. What do we know about the controversy? A widely criticized performance is sparking backlash from religious leaders and celebrities alike. Paris Olympic organizers issued an apology on Sunday after a scene depicting the Greek god, and I'm probably destroying his name as I always do, Dionysus, drew criticism for allegedly mocking Leonardo da Vinci's painting of the Last Supper, which depicts Jesus Christ and his 12 apostles during their final meal. At the ceremony on Friday night, a nearly nude man painted in blue representing this Greek god that I mispronounced has seen positioning himself on a long dinner table surrounded by food and drag queens. The depiction, according to some of the religious organizations, was a mockery of the Christian faith. Public figures included U.S. Speaker of the House, U.S. Mike Johnson, called it a war on our faith and our traditional values. According to the report, several performers have since been subject to online hate, with one having filed a legal complaint against her cyber attackers. Meanwhile, Anne Descamps, a spokeswoman for the 2024 Paris Olympics, has stated that it was never an intention to show or disrespect any religious group during a press conference on Sunday. Just to go over what happened again before you weigh in, during the ceremony, French DJ producer Barbara Butch stood at the center of a long table reminiscent of Da Vinci's painting. She was surrounded by drag queens. Okay, so we got the idea. What are your thoughts, Jimmy?
What, that we pleasantly would we just watched somebody take a piss on the Bible? And we are pleasantly told, oh, we didn't mean to do that. It's just a coincidence that it looks like the Last Supper table. It's not a coincidence. You see, unfortunately, Judaism, Christianity, and belief in the Bible, and the belief in the preacher from Nazareth, and belief in Moses, and belief in all these things that come with these two faiths is completely under attack. Wake up, folks, because if you don't think it is, then you're obviously ignorant. Because that's exactly what that was, no matter what your faith is. It's also a smearing of Dionysus himself, the Greek god, which, by the way, getting back to Jim Morrison patterned his life after Dionysus, by the way. He was the god of celebration, the god of party. But I don't recall ever hearing that Dionysus was hanging out with the drag queens. Okay, so once again, you've taken ancient faiths and current, very important world religions, and you have used their template to urinate all over those messages. And then you pleasantly say that there was no coincidence. Well, you know what? You're full of shit. It absolutely was not a coincidence. It was on purpose. And you pleasantly told anyone who doesn't think like you, fuck you, and I've got the forum to push my shit down your throat. So I now return you to your regularly scheduled program, because as far as the Olympics goes, I'm done. Okay, I'm done. I don't, that's a shame. I want our athletes to do well. I want our athletes to win, and I hope they do. But as far as me watching, no thanks.
Jimmy, that might have been one of your finest comments I've ever heard you on any kind of news item. I applaud you. I don't think anyone could have said that any better. Unbelievable.
Appreciate it.
What a shame that religion can be shit on a regular basis. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, everything else is taboo. Right.
No, it's a very sad commentary. Listen, I have been watching these warning flares go forever. Again, I will bring it up that Obama allowed the president of Iran to limousine into the middle of New York to go to the United Nations, gave him a steak dinner, and let him go up there and say the Holocaust never happened. This has been happening for a long time, Mike. It's been happening for a long time.
But now that they've got here's the thing, though. You can get away with a written or a written apology. Oh, sorry, didn't mean to do that. That's not what it meant for. But if you had have done something different, and I don't have to name those type of things, people would have been crucified. End of the world.
End of the world. Oh, crucified. I see what you did there.
Yeah, I did. Thank you. Mike. Pretty smart. Thank you very much.
Very, very nice. Yeah, but it's the truth now. It's do as I say or be eliminated. And that is supposedly coming from the movement of freedom of speech, freedom and love for all. Do as I say or be devoured. Wow. Well, that ain't going to work for me. I've been running my own race for way too long. So, to the spoon-fed idiots out there that subscribe to this sort of hate poison, well, you're really only growing the problem that you think you're trying to cure, which is really delusion. Isn't that the definition of insanity? Basically doing the same crap over and over again, expecting a different result.
Yeah.
What are you doing? What are you doing? I see right through it. It was a coincidence? No, it wasn't a coincidence. You did it on purpose, and you had the forum to do it, so you did it.
Unbelievable.
Just say it at least. I'd have more respect for it being an honest prick than I would this garbage.
Well, again, you know what? If you want to push your agenda, that's fine, right? Like that agenda, right?
Yeah.
But don't shit on other people's beliefs. You said that in your I'm repeating just what you just said in that drawn out speech of yours, right?
Yeah.
It's literally a joke, and eventually there'll be fire for this, right? Eventually people will have enough, and then people won't understand why there'll be anarchy in this world, right?
Right. Well, we're working on it. We're trying real hard to make that happen, obviously.
Let's stick on the Olympics. Hate to stick on the negative, right? Because the U.S. won the gymnastics Olympic gold, and
Mm-hmm.
congratulations,
Mm-hmm.
fantastic. But Italian, we're going to show the video too, Jimmy. I know you can't see it, so I'll tell you when it goes off. But after I'm done,
I did see it though, but go ahead.
Italian boxer breaks silence after abandoning Olympic bout after fighter in a gender controversy as an Italian female boxer who abandoned her Paris Olympics bout. Hold on, I've got to get to my arrow as I lost it. Against Algerian fighter caught in the middle of a gender eligibility controversy revealed why she walked away from her match. Angela Carini stepped into the ring on Thursday to fight Iman Khalif in a 66-kilogram fight. However, 40 seconds into the bout, Carini went to the corner to call off the match. Khalif celebrated as Carini left in tears. Do we have that video, Abe? Let's run it.
Some quick replays of the very short-lived action in the women's welterweight bout there between Angela Carini and Iman Khalif. Iman Khalif taking the win. Carini choosing to abandon the bout.
I didn't give up, but a punch hurt too much, so I said enough. I'm leaving with my head high. Khalif will move on to the next round of the women's division. However, the win comes amid controversy. So, Jimmy, before I get to you, I was shocked. I thought that there was a ruling about this stuff, and clearly I don't know what I'm talking about. So here we are. A female woman trains her ass off. She finally reaches her dream to go for Olympic gold, to support her country, and she's got to fight a man. And that's what that is. That's a man. I'm not going to mince words about this. I don't know how you want to sell it to me. You ain't selling that shit to me. Jimmy?
I agree completely. That dude's a dude. It's bottom line. She trained for how many years too, probably, to get to that spot, and she gets to fight a dude. Too bad. You know what? I want this all fixed. Okay. From now on, if you're a person of transgender, you have your own damn division. Let them all kill each other. Okay. I don't care what's swinging between the legs. Whatever you were first, it doesn't matter to me. It's the transgender division. Go kill each other. Am I going to watch it? No. But will it stop us from having to talk about a dude beating up a poor chick who like trained for years? Yeah, maybe it will. Go fight each other in your own division. Okay. You want exclusivity? You got it. There it is. It's all yours. Enjoy. This is bullshit, dude. Absolute bullshit. You know what? Let her fight you. Let's see how long that takes. I'm using her loosely.
I'll tell you what, man. I agree with you, but some of me doesn't agree, right? Because when does it stop? When does it stop? Like, okay.
It doesn't stop. It doesn't stop, Mike. It's just going to get stupider and dumber and more ridiculous. And I really think that if you want to be acknowledged, here, fight each other. Here's your own division. Fight each other. Form your own basketball leagues. Do whatever the hell you want, and have it be supported by this strong backing you say you have. Go for it. Just leave me out of it.
Wait a minute, but okay, let's discuss.
Simple.
Let's discuss a couple of things here, right?
Transgender pro wrestling, buddy.
You don't have to get married, but if you stay long enough in a relationship, you can be recognized as a couple, and then there could be fights over property and everything else. So we've destroyed the sanctity of marriage, right? So it's like either you get married. Now you don't have to get married, right? You just have to live with each other long enough, right? Problem one, right? Now problem two is, you know what? I identify as this, I identify as that, blah, 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 blah. I get it. Look, I'm not in that world. I'm not going to say it's not real. But unfortunately, when it comes to athletic competition, you do have genetic things in you, right? That it make you a male is stronger, a female is smarter. There's just things that happen, right? And it's like you're going to it's when okay. Will there be a point ever that you'll be able to marry your dog?
I was just going to say, and that's interesting, Mike, because I've decided that next year I'm going to enter in the Westminster Kennel competition because I've decided that I'm a Doberman Pinscher.
There you go. That's right. Or how about I've decided?
And if you don't agree with me, rough.
That's very good. I like it. How about this? I think I'm a 6-year-old. I want to go back to school again.
Why not? Why the hell not?
And I want to be supported by the government.
I bet you would be the king of the kickball yard.
I'd kill it. You know what? You know what, Jimmy? To be honest with you, I really wouldn't take a chance because what if I didn't? How embarrassing would that be?
I think it would be great. I might even pass if I went back and did that. Imagine?
Could you
I
imagine?
would love to.
You might be
I would love to try
valedictorian,
seventh
dude.
grade.
You could be valedictorian.
I would love to try seventh grade over again. Oh my God! You know what I mean?
Oh,
And today,
boy.
your name in Spanish class is Manuel. Why Manuel? Oh man, I'm not gonna fail. I'm gonna fail on purpose, Manuel.
Oh,
Terrible.
my God. All right.
Well, they didn't have a Spanish equivalent for my name, so they called me Manuel. I'm like, all right, I'm done with this class.
Well, we're just full of news items, dude. And guys, we got 2 hours of film. There is wrestling coming, but I haven't talked to Jimmy all week. Jimmy's been busy. He's getting ready for this super trip. And again, Jimmy, you better take pictures because we're showing them next week.
I'm gonna have to tell Karen to take pictures because I'm not the type. Go
I
ahead.
want lots of pictures.
I know you do, and I'm not the guy to give them to you. But all right.
In the world is I would not F with this guy category. Florida killer Wade Wilson faces the death penalty. What do we know ahead of the sentencing? Wade Wilson, Florida guys, man. The Florida man found guilty of killing 2 Cape Coral women is due in court on August for sentencing in his case. On June 12th, Wilson, 30, was found guilty of the 2019 murders of Kristen Melton, 35, and Diane Ruiz, 43. The jury recommended that the death penalty for each of these murders for June 20. So what do you get? They burn you up twice? I mean, how do you give 2 death sentences? Stupid.
I mean,
Jimmy,
you might as well take 10 out. I mean,
But if you saw this guy, it's like, number one, like, the guy's like as big as Aaron Hernandez. His whole friggin' face is tattooed. And, basically from what I've read, right, he met, hold on, Jimmy, let me pull up the names. I got to go back a little bit. It's dark in this studio here. He ran into this Kristen Melton at the bar. Him and his friend brought her back to their house or apartment. Who knows what went on. The friend left, and this guy Wilson kills her. Then he takes the body, puts in his car, and he's driving, and he sees this Diana Ruiz, I guess, jogging down the street, convinces her to come in the car for a second, kills her too. This guy is one of the scariest looking dudes I've ever seen in my life. I have to ask you, you have delved into the mind of some of the most psychotic people, right? I know it was an interest to you at some point or another.
But enough about myself. Let's talk about Charles Manson.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
What would make someone want to murder people like that out of the blue?
Insecurity and the need for power. The need to know that you have power. The power to take somebody else's life must be some sort of rush that only the serial killer seems to identify with. It's usually because there's a giant void in their life, and they need to feel some sort of level of power and self-acceptance. I don't know, but it's obviously deranged. I would tend to think, and I mean, I've heard a lot of interviews with famous serial killers, and they say that it's a very powerful thing. It's a very powerful thing to know that you have someone's life in your control. And I get that mostly from Dahmer when I've listened to Dahmer. Well, because when you look at Dahmer, what a nerd. I mean, let's be serious here. He was just an absolute nerdy nerd. You wouldn't think that Jeffrey Dahmer could do things that, look, he's probably the most grisly of all of them. When you think about it, he was eating them. You know, he was storing cadavers in his basement and shit. I mean, this guy, but he would talk about the power of it, the power rush of having somebody helpless and at his mercy. And that's really comes from insecurity and the need for power. That's really all I could say about that.
Can I ask you this, though? What kind of common sense, and again, I'm not trying to victim blame
there
here,
is none.
but it's like, what common sense do you have? The dude looked like he was probably a good-looking guy. I'm not saying he wasn't, but when you have like a tattoo of like skulls on your face, it's like, there's something going on here. I don't probably want to go back to this dude's hotel.
Right. Well, you know, look, I can't explain that one either, other than I know some women have that gene in them that just loves a bad boy. I can't explain that. I mean, I've seen it 1,000 times playing with bands over the years, as far as like, you know, some of the crowd we would attract, a lot of them were, and I love bikers. A lot of them were bikers, and some of them were real mean looking bikers. You could tell that you don't want to mess with them, but the girls loved them. Some girls, You know what I'm saying? It's just a crapshoot the way that works. For some reason, some women are very attracted to bad boys.
So tell me if I'm out
You
of
know?
line here. I'll bring it into wrestling a little bit, right? We've had
All
the
right.
wonderful baby doll on the show, right? Good, nice,
Yeah.
beautiful lady, great mother,
Yeah.
right? She gets
Hmm.
involved with Sam Houston. Sam Houston clearly was a dope head. Yeah.
Okay.
What did she think was going to happen with Sam Houston? Did she think she was going to turn him? Like, I understand what you said. You're attracted to the bad boy. But what –
Yeah.
and you have to know there's an end game here, right?
Right. Right. Well, I don't know. I don't know what kind of dynamic they were sharing when they first met. She might have seen little bits and signs of how messed up he could be, but maybe she didn't see it all, and maybe she thought that whatever is wrong with him, I'll fix him. She wouldn't be the first woman to fall in love with a man and want to help him.
I'm not
You
–
know what I'm
it's
saying?
not a man or a woman. My whole point to you, Jimmy,
Yeah.
is we all are born with common sense, right? There's a nature.
we?
Yes, there
I'm
there
not
is
sure
a
about that.
no, there is
I'm not sure about that.
there's a fight and fear thing that's instituted within our body, within our genes, that we know
Right.
bad things. You know, look, dude, look. Look, you should tell the story just as right. So here on Long Island, there was something called "Say You Love Satan," right? Remember the book "Say You Love Satan"?
Correct.
You don't mind me sharing the story, do you?
That all depends, but go ahead.
So Jimmy, so
Being honest.
no, I understand. I won't go too deep into it, but Jimmy and I knew the guy who ended up murdering this kid over drugs or whatever
You're
else.
talking all right, well we can give some the details. You're talking about someone anybody could look up on Wikipedia. He was known as the Acid King, and his name was Ricky Casso. There was a book written called "Say You Love Satan" about him. There's been several movies about him. Mike, I'll leave it to you to take over from there.
All right, so I was friends with somebody, and I was actually dating his sister, right, who is a very good friend of mine to this day. I love her to death to this day. But I ran across this Triano guy, right? No, what's the other guy's name? I forget. Jimmy, what was the guy's name again?
What? Al?
No, not Al. The two other guys. There was Triano and there was another guy, right?
There was Triano and Casso.
Casso. So Casso's the guy that killed him, was the murderer, the eventual murderer, right? Or they both were.
Yes.
I forget.
Well, actually, it was that Casso, Triano held him down, and Casso did the stabbing.
Right. So I ran across Casso, I believe, and I think I'm right.
I know I did.
Right.
Yeah, I know I did. Yeah.
Jimmy and I were hanging out at that time, a little less, but we were hanging out, and I knew the guy was a problem, right? And
Right.
he pulled some shit on me, and I don't take shit, right? So I got out of that situation. I knew something was wrong right then and there. So that's
Right.
why I'm talking about fear and flight. Then Jimmy,
Right.
you actually had a situation with the same guy because Jimmy was hanging out too, and we'd just hang out, have a good time. And you knew there was something wrong there. I mean, share your end. I'm not going to share your end.
Well, what had happened is that those were the days of the summer of '84 where you were dating that girl that you spoke of. She's very, very cool. I remember her pretty fondly. She was cool. And you had split to go see her. But I had walked down. In those days, we walked. Remember?
Yeah,
We had
yeah.
walked all the way down to Northport, which was not around the corner, even though we were the next town over. It wasn't around the corner. So you had gone to see the girl, and I was kind of experiencing my first beers that night. Like we had just started to discover mom and dad's liquor cabinet. We'll get to the food fight some other time because that's where the real problems start with getting in trouble with the parents.
All right,
Nice job, Mike.
There you go.
But so I'm having a beer, and this guy comes up, and we were near the docks, where he was known to be anyway. He was known as the Acid King because he sold acid during those days. Don't forget, it's the '80s, and it's the metalheads, and Ricky was a metalhead. Ricky Casso, he always wore the AC/DC shirts and stuff. So he came over, and he was fine with me. He was cool, hung out, said a few things, was talking to Al, and I could feel it. I could feel it coming off him. I was like, even though he wasn't intimidating me or trying to be nasty with me, he wasn't. But I was looking at him. You could feel I guess the word's evil. I can't say it
So,
any
by
other
the
way.
way,
Like
now you're supporting my statement earlier on. Then you
you can
have
feel the evil because well, I'm not supporting your statement. You said that we're all born with common sense. Not that guy. Okay, that's what I mean by this. Not that guy, because there was no common sense. Don't forget that after he killed his victim, he brought people back there for weeks to show them.
right. Sure.
Okay, there is no common sense going on here,
I think I
dude.
might have
This,
mistook, Jimmy.
these,
Hold on, give me one chance. I didn't mean common
yeah,
sense. I think we're naturally we're animals, right?
right,
We have the fight or flight in us.
mm-hmm,
And
right,
again, there's people who cut that fight or flight off, and some are
right,
just pure evil, like you said, and
right,
that certainly is pure
right,
evil. But when you run across that pure evil, if you're not on that level of evil,
yeah,
you feel it, and it's like that's what
yeah,
I'm talking about. Those ladies, like, how couldn't you have felt that
right.
evil? You know?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, in Ricky's case, it was very, very obvious. I mean, but I can kind of, I'm a little bit empathic, for lack of a better. I can feel other people. I can feel their energy. So basically, I was like, oh my God, who's this Count Dracula?
Mm.
I was it really felt like that. I was like, wow. And then of course the whole thing went down. The kid burned him for drug money. You know what the killing was all over. He
Right.
he had burned Ricky Casso for drug money. This poor kid Gary Lowers, who was really honestly, from what I had heard, a complete asshole. But that doesn't matter here or nor there.
Mm-hmm.
He burned Ricky for a lot of money for angel dust, and they took him out into the woods, and Ricky proceeded to cut his eyeballs out and made him try to make him say you love Satan, which is where they get the name of the book from. And he kept yelling out, I love my mother.
Mm.
And the more he yelled my mother, the more incensed Ricky became. And the more Ricky would stab him. And then eventually, of course, he stabbed him to the point that Gary couldn't speak anymore because Gary was dead. And he cut out his eyes. He did all sorts of things. But to get back to your, main point, evil can be felt. Absolutely. Those girls should have, I would think, you know, unless he's the best actor ever. I mean, you got to remember, Ricky wasn't acting. Ricky wasn't trying to fool anybody.
All right, so
Ricky wasn't trying to lure. Ricky was the only time Ricky did try to lure. We didn't see it when he tried to get Gary into the woods.
Let's
So it must have been like,
let me
"Hey,
let me
bro,
dumb it down.
what's
Let me
up,
dumb it down
bro?"
to the audience for the audience then.
Yeah,
And I'm
yeah.
sorry, I'm going to say it. If you got tattoos on your face, you're fucked up. Okay, that's
Hey, you
all.
leave Mike Tyson alone.
Listen,
Leave Tyson alone.
you're fucked up, and you know what?
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
all right.
I don't give a shit. Jelly Roll, the dude's fucked up. Like, I cannot
Jelly.
believe, I got to be honest with you, I can't believe the WWE even has a relationship with that guy. I really don't. Again, he could be a musical genius. I'm sorry. If you're going to put tattoos all over your face, you're just a fucking freak, dude. And I'm sorry.
I got
That's
you.
it. You know?
I got you. Well, this is one of those cases where WWE is looking at the cash register. A Jelly Roll is like a god in Panama City.
I'm sure he is. I'm sure he
I'm
is.
like, oh my God, is that all I hear is Jelly Roll half the time? I can't say that I've gravitated towards running out and getting his record the way I just heard Greta Van Fleet. I'm like, okay, I like them.
Right.
But Jelly Roll, no. Greta Van Fleet, holy crap, where did they come from? Led Zeppelin has returned.
Moral
To a point.
of the story is if it smells like shit and looks like shit, it's shit. Stop trying to shine the turd into a gold brick. It's not
There
gonna
you go.
fucking work, right? That's all.
Yep.
That's all I got.
That's
Dude,
all.
I gotta tell you, good conversation. But let's get a little bit into wrestling. We'll start with the
All right.
biggest news in pro wrestling. Shane McMahon issues a statement at his meeting with Tony Khan. This is going to be a very interesting conversation with the Pharaoh. A picture of AEW owner, president, and head of creative Tony Khan meeting with Shane McMahon on Monday had the wrestling world abuzz. It came along at a report of the two discussed the possibilities of moving forward after rumors and quotes earlier this month indicated that both sides might be interested in bringing Vince McMahon's son to the closest thing the WWE has to as a competitor. McMahon has now commented, providing a statement to Bully Ray on Busted Open, which happened last night. He does a AEW After Dark show. I will say, as much as I don't like him as a human being, he has tons of talent. I know you love him. I don't like him as a human being. Tons of talent. Tony and I were connected through a mutual friend. We had a great meeting. And by the way, if I fucking ever ran into Bully Ray, he wouldn't scare me. I would fucking fight Bully Ray. Probably not now, dude. I'm old. All right. Yeah, I get it. No, I wouldn't fight Bully Ray. Forget it. We talked about many things, but most about the shared love for the business and rewards and challenges of working with the family. I congratulated him for 5-year anniversary of AEW and look forward to as his business evolves in the future. Beyond that, Bully Ray added, hold on, blah, 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 blah. Beyond that, I'm telling you, my computer's giving me a big problem today. Added the suspense to saying that McMahon doesn't share his moves before he makes them. But before you respond, Jimmy, I want to play a video that you and I had interviewed WWE superstar, former WWE superstar, and now internet sensation, Maven. And this is what Maven had to say on that day that Jimmy Pharaoh and I made Maven's career, and I will stick to that. Go ahead. Now, I think that's smart business. Vince, Stephanie, Shane. Does Stephanie have that same characteristics as Vince? Did Shane have those same characteristics as Vince, or no?
I would say Stephanie probably has it more.
Is it walking fast
than Shane does? Yeah, I mean, Shane's Vince always wanted the son like Hunter. He always wanted the big, jacked up, great wrestler son, and Shane, Shane was a fearless, and could go out there and do whatever, but he was never going to be the wrestler that Vince probably wanted. And, Stephanie had the business, just the knowledge for what the business should be. And, I mean, I don't know if either of them probably lived up to what Vince would have wanted. However, I don't think.
So basically, Maven said to myself and the great Jimmy Pharaoh that he felt that Vince McMahon always wanted like a person like Triple H as a son. I don't want to say he thought Shane was a disappointment, but according to Maven and others, he felt that Shane really wasn't the son Vince McMahon was looking for. So, Jimmy, I'm going to let you have this comment on Shane McMahon meeting with Tony Khan.
I don't understand why it would be happening, except for one reason. I really feel that if Shane's going to do anything, he's going to buy it. So why would Shane come in as a contracted worker? Oh, it's really about his last wrestling match? I doubt that. And if it is, wow, that's silly. Why the hell would you do it there? Just go call Hunter and have your last hurrah where you really should have it anyway. You know what? It would be the best thing in the world for AEW to have McMahon buy it. I'm actually thinking to myself, Shane should buy it. Buy it, Shane. Otherwise, why is he there, Mike? I mean, anything else I will laugh at. So to me, unless he wants to buy the company, I don't want to see him in the ring. I don't want to see him working for AEW. I don't want to see any of that. But if he wants to buy it and wants to show his father, you know what? I learned a thing or two. Watch this. I would love that. Now that's drama. That I could get into. You know what I'm getting at?
Do you think that Vince is working behind the scenes with Shane and they're going to buy it together and Vince is just keeping his name out? By the way, the great Maria Davis says, I've got tattoos. They're cool, just not on my face. I agree, Maria. I've got tattoos
there you
also.
Go.
I just don't think when you start putting it on your face and your neck, like Cody Rhodes, there comes a point it gets a little weird, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
What about a tattoo on your kneecap, Mike? Is that weird?
Interesting question, Jimmy. I'll tell you what, it would probably hurt. That's for damn sure, right?
Yeah, it sounds painful. That's bone on bone is bad, right? Because I don't have any tattoos yet, but I'm going to get one.
I know. I can't wait to get. What are you going to get?
I already told you, bro. Well, I don't expect you to remember, but I was going to either get a snake or a lizard or something like that.
How about a cat? What a cat?
A cat?
Yeah.
Well, one of Sebastiano's cats? I'll put a little Dan hat and mutton chops on the cat. I'll know. The weight of Sid Vicious when he's 4 years old. Yeah.
Wow. Sebastiano's taking a little bit of a beating tonight.
No, he's not. The guy's going to wind up winning for the next 57 weeks.
No,
He's laughing his way all the way to the
I'm putting my
WrestleFest
hard money.
bank.
I'm putting my hard money on Benny. Benny's gonna win this
Benny?
thing. Yeah, he's gonna
You
win
guys
this
better
thing.
start giving Benny the answers the way this is going.
Benny, somebody quoted
It's
like
not fair.
Benny's just like
Leave Benny alone.
staring
It's
into the
not
camera.
fair. He's got Phil and Dan. They're like making rocket fuel in their spare time.
Hey, you know
those
what?
two.
You didn't give me credit. I got 2 questions right, or at least one, and my buzzer wasn't working. Give me a break, will you?
Wow. Name the dimensions of the Isle of Malta, man. Hey, stop it. Just stop, man. No, I don't remember who the referee was for Frankie Williams versus Jose Estrada. I don't.
Do you think
Ay,
that Shane
jeez.
is thinking about
Yeah.
either working with Tony Khan or purchasing AEW as a
I want him to purchase it.
direct punchback at his sister and Triple H? Remember
Could
WrestleMania?
be.
They came out and named it the Triple H era, right?
Right. Yeah. No, it could be. Like I said, I would. What, you wouldn't enjoy that? Like if Shane bought AEW and went to war with Triple H. That sounds pretty good.
All right, let's go under
I
the
would like
premise.
that.
Let's go under the premise he's not buying it. He's going to be
Hate it. Any other way, I hate it.
Jimmy, I can't imagine a millionaire works for a billionaire. I totally understand that. But
I can't.
let's
Yeah.
play. He's going to go, you know what? I'm going to help you run this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Would Shane have enough influence on Tony
Mm-hmm.
Khan to change his ways? Or, listen, let's be honest here. And this is not an AEW bash. Tony Khan, this is an epic fail, okay? He had every great move that he's attempted to do has come to some sort of failure, right? From bringing Edge in to Edge, some not his own fault. Edge breaking his leg to the fucking CM Punk issues, right?
Right.
Can Shane, if he gets it, say he just comes to AEW, say the premise is he's going to work for him, can the great Shane McMahon turn this around and actually compete with Triple H?
Who knows? I mean, he is a McMahon. I wouldn't bet against him causing a serious headache if he did. However, I will say this: the other part of me, because I've become so pessimistic. Here's another scenario that no one's talking about. Punk's about to beat McIntyre. Oh my God, it's Shane McMahon. Shane McMahon just cost CM Punk the match. You know why? Because Shane McMahon's the best in the world. That's why. What a swerve that would be after everybody just spending the last 48 hours talking about Shane going to AEW. How do we not know that Shane did this on purpose as the ultimate swerve to be the big return at SummerSlam, the best in the world, huh, Punk?
I'm going to counterpoint you on that one.
It's silly.
No,
but
no,
it would also be holy shit.
I'm not saying it's silly, and let's go by your premise, okay? It's not a silly premise, but then Shane just shot himself in the foot because he actually, everything's going WWE's way. He actually turned attention away from the WWE on Wednesday. So would that have been a smart move, business-wise?
If you counteracted with listen, the shock factor of everybody's talking about him going to AEW. If he does a run-in at SummerSlam this Saturday, do you realize what that will do to the internet? All eyes will be focused on WWE. The holy shit factor will be through the roof if Shane pulls that. I wouldn't be surprised if Paul and Shane talked about it. Hey, why don't you go talk to that stupid Mark Tony Khan? You know what I mean?
Well,
you never know, man.
You
just never know.
Let's pull it this way then. I'll ask you this.
Yeah.
AEW's not making money. We understand this, right?
Right.
Again, we don't see
Why
the
would
books.
Shane want to help them anyway?
Well, here's the thing. Would it make sense for Tony Khan to sell it to a McMahon?
Yeah.
Be able to go to his
the money.
dad and say, hey, look, I had a successful business venture, this wrestling thing, right? Right. AEW doesn't have a TV contract, right? There still has not been an agreement to bring them on.
Dude, I think the days of Vince, it's time to let go of that. I think if Shane does anything, he'll do it on his own. And if he buys it, he'll buy it on his own. It won't be like, I talk to Dad.
You don't think that Vince still has a huge ego at this point and he's angry?
I think he has a huge ego, but he's been removed from his own creation. Do I think that Vince will convince Shane somehow to buy AEW and let him be the grand wizard behind the scenes, the Wizard of Oz? No, I don't. I think that Shane McMahon does one of two things here. Either he really does go there and helps that company. Why he would help Tony Khan is beyond me. Whatever his bad blood is with his family, it would have to run very, 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 very deep to destroy his family's business. What the hell what's going on there?
Well,
I
first of
don't
all,
think so.
it's no longer his
You know?
family's business, right? And number
Right.
two, look,
Right.
he is the odd man out. Triple H is getting
Right.
all the credit. His Stephanie McMahon's getting all. Listen, when you talk to people about it, I'm going to ask you, right? Who's a smarter business person, Shane McMahon or Stephanie McMahon, in your opinion?
Shane McMahon or Stephanie McMahon?
Yeah.
Well, according to everything, according to history so far, it said that Stephanie was given the opportunity and Shane wasn't.
You're kind of skirting the question.
No, I am not. I'm answering it point blank. The father chose Stephanie over Shane. That's Vince's decision. As to what played into that, I don't have privy to that. Do I think Shane McMahon could run a company? Yes, I do.
Not saying he can't, but my point is he's the odd man out. So you explained he's the odd man out.
He was the odd man out. But
you know,
is that,
we're all
is that
human.
Is that enough to want to try to take down WrestleMania, the history of his?
Listen, I don't think he can take it down, but he could turn it or AEW around and it becomes a substantial competitor. And he go, hey, look, Dad, look what I've done, Dad. Right? Look what I've done. And Tony Khan, on the other hand, goes, look what I've done, Dad. I took your money and I made it into something, right?
Right. Well, you know what? Years ago, Vince had Shane play the angle. I just bought WCW. I think this time around, Shane would like to realize the angle and say, I actually did just buy AEW. You know, I don't know why he would want to do anything less than just own the company or go the hell back home to finish whatever he wants to finish in WWE. Because I don't understand why he would help that company any other way unless he was the one running it. He is the McMahon at the end of the day. You really think he's going to come in and play? I'm going to come in and play team ball.
But he's a McMahon, and he's got feelings. And you know what?
Yeah.
His kids are grown now. He's got $1 billion, right? So even if he fails, he's not going to fail, right?
But what does he think he's being remembered as? Does he? I don't understand. Is he struggling with his legacy? It's like, dude, you're Shane McMahon.
Listen,
you were one of the major characters.
Answer that question yourself. What is Shane McMahon at this point in time remembered as?
He was remembered as an excellent personality / wrestler and the son of Vince McMahon.
There you go. And now you just answered the question.
What I'm answering is that the only thing that I would want to do at this point if I was Shane McMahon is just buy my own company and show my father that I could do what he did.
That's right.
But I have to own it. Not share it with Tony or help Tony. That ain't gonna cut it.
I agree with you on that.
Cut it with his father.
That I agree with you. I agree with you.
Right.
If there's going to be something, he's buying it. He's taking it.
He should.
Yes.
I think he should. I would love to see that. And if he fails, aha. If he doesn't, whoa, what happened here? Now we've got a real Raw Nitro thing again. I can live with that.
I agree.
That wouldn't be bad. You know what I mean?
If you didn't know it, you were watching Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Monte and Pharaoh. Catch Monte and Pharaoh on the Monte and Pharaoh YouTube page. Catch us on the Monte and Pharaoh Facebook Live page. Hear us on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Anchor. Catch us on the Monte and Pharaoh Twitch TV page and channel 115 every Tuesday at 9:30 p.m. and Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. and channel 20 at 11 a.m. in New York. We're over 150,000 people are watching us weekly. Cable version's doing well, Jimmy. We'll be right back after this commercial break. We're going to go into another person that you have a high respect for, the great Paul Heyman. I want to run some things by you, and I want to see, is Monte wrong yet again, or is he right? We'll be right back.
Uh-oh.
Sir?
Ah.
Manscaped?
Uh-huh.
Have you tried the new equipment that's been sent?
I'm afraid because it says Weed Whacker. I'm scared.
Maven, Manscaped. What are you thinking about
Love it.
Manscaped, dude?
Love it.
What do you use it for?
Necessity. What don't I use it for? Put it this way. The only hair I have on my entire body is these eyebrows.
Yeah.
That you see. These caterpillars racing to the middle of my nose. That's it.
That is it.
That's all I have. And that's all I want.
That's the
So Manscaped is a must.
We were talking before the show. There's nothing worse than just hair.
Yeah.
Right? Hair on a woman, hair on a man, it's just bad.
Absolutely. And it's the one thing that the older I get, it starts growing more in unwanted areas.
Absolutely.
I hate it.
I'm going to ask you a question.
Uh-oh.
Just going to go out there.
Oh, boy.
Go for it.
You're doing a deed.
Yes.
Again, I don't want you to have to admit this because we, as men, we try not to admit this. But if you're going to go do the deed on a woman,
I know
would you
where he's
rather
going.
have her be hairless or a little hair, racing stripe, or
Racing stripe.
full retro bush?
Racing stripe.
Retro Bush is out.
Yes, thank you.
Retro Bush is out.
Yeah.
I don't mind a small, well manicured landing strip. Every now and then, if it's completely, and I'm talking like baby's ass bald, then I start. Where is that pedophilia line? I don't want to
Wow.
wander into that.
That's
thought of
very
it like
interesting.
that.
I never thought about that. You're a smart dude. Holy shit.
So if the landing strip is clean enough for the plane to go in smoothly, you're cool with that?
If the landing strip has, like I said, well manicured,
Yeah,
you can see both sides. It's not
Like blinking lights on both sides of that
I
landing?
just don't. I don't want. I don't want the shrubbery going off into unwanted areas on that. As well.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Oh, look
but-
what you found. Ooh.
I got to be all honest though. Hey, the older I get though, I don't think I can be as
Have you ever gone down there and she slowly brings down the underwear, then
What is
retro? Just,
Absolutely.
you're like, whoa.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm
like
46.
it pops
of course.
out?
Do you like walk out or what do you do?
No, I muster through. I muster up the courage to get
He's
through.
a trooper. He's a trooper. Got to give him an A.
Oh, not all heroes wear capes.
Yeah,
There you go.
I hear you.
There you
Listen,
go.
I couldn't
Super
say.
Bush.
I couldn't say. Well, if you have the same beliefs as Maven, does Manscaped could help you?
Absolutely.
The weed whacker.
Absolutely.
What are you thinking?
I'm thinking that I may have to, go in a room, close the door, and hang out with the weed whacker for a little while.
Man, I think you're a retro guy, aren't you?
I like 70s adult films, if that's what you're getting at.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
But
only
with that,
Ron
we're going to take a
Jeremy,
quick
Batman.
commercial break, and we'll be
Anyway.
back with this wrestling icon, Maven.
We will see you in a drop kick second.
Drop kick. All right, welcome back to Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Monte and Pharaoh, where Jimmy is on location at the Gathering, one of the biggest events. Before we continue on with our conversation, Jimmy, we're going to go into our segment, which is called Call That Motherfucker Who Stole $120,000 from Us. Are you ready for this?
Oh God, we'll probably get another busy signal or a dead dial tone
Well, here we go.
or a false promise.
Here we go.
I'll give you a hamburger next Tuesday for one today.
And the phone's ringing. And the phone's ringing.
This? I can't hear it.
Can you hear it now? Can you hear the
No.
ring? You can't?
That's all right. You'll translate.
Well, he ain't picking up. Trust me.
Of course, he's not picking up.
But this will be a weekly segment.
That's why. Oh, that's great. Call it. What? Talk to the hands?
Oops. Oh, you can't even leave a message. You can't even leave a message, Jimmy.
Wow.
Holy
He's-
cow.
He's through with you, man. You're a pain in his ass.
You
What
ain't
the hell?
kidding.
How dare
Jason,
you? How
you
dare you
asked if
ask me right
AEW has a chance on HBO Max. I think that's out of the window. They were actually putting on that behind the scenes show, which I kind of like. They put that on HBO Max, and all of a sudden they stopped with that show too. I guess things aren't working in the Khan household.
I guess not. Or it's all being spent on blow.
All right, man. So, I love WWE documentaries. This week was about your man, Paul Heyman. And I thought about you.
All right.
I thought about Mitch, right? Mitch is a personal friend of Paul Heyman.
What are you getting at? You
This
thought
is-
of Zero Mostel from Fiddler on the
Here
Roof?
we
What are
go.
you
It's
getting
going to
at?
be a simple question, but I need a detailed answer from the great Jimmy Pharaoh.
I'll do the best I can. Go ahead.
Was Paul Heyman truly a success in ECW? And before you answer, I'm going to ask you this, okay? Because I don't know if you knew this. I found this out. Me and Mitch had an argument over the money, but I'm going to call it the way I heard it, all right? It could be a little less, but it's in the range. Paul Heyman was given $5 million from his family to run ECW.
Okay.
So when I used to think
where,
about...
where did Mike, if I can, where does that come from? I've never heard this before. Where does
Bully
that-
Ray said it straight out on Busted Open
Okay.
Radio.
Okay, then okay, bully Ray.
So
That
I
works. Go ahead.
always envisioned Paul Heyman being a Vince McMahon. We real quick, so in case people don't know, and I'm sure they do, Vince McMahon bought the WWE at the time, the WWF, from his father, okay, for the sum of, I think, $1.2 million. It could have been more, whatever.
Yeah.
Vince McMahon had to pay this, and in one balloon payment at the end, and if he missed on any payment, his father kept the money he already got and maintained and stayed owner of then WWF. Vince McMahon truly is a mogul, right? This guy was a promoter who failed at the Evel Knievel promotion. I think he did the Inoki Ali match promoting it.
Mm-hmm.
So Vince McMahon has had his trials and tribulations, right?
Yeah.
So I always thought Paul Heyman was that guy. But when I found out,
Right.
so in this documentary, we'll go over the documentary, but when I found out Paul Heyman got $5 million, I thought to myself, wow, Jesus, this dude's family had a lot of money. So Paul Heyman
Right.
really didn't have a lot to lose. I mean, $5 million is a lot to lose. I get it. But in the end, he
Right.
knew if he lost it, life was still going to go on, right? Because his parents had that
Okay.
kind of money to give him. All of a sudden, I looked at Paul Heyman as, he's Tony Khan. So now I'm handing the ball to you, Jimmy. Since I now have told you this, was Paul Heyman truly a success with ECW? Forget about his later life, okay? He's clearly a success now. But if it wasn't for Vince McMahon, would Paul Heyman be in the place he is now? Or would he just be, running around?
Okay, I'm going to probably confuse everybody, but I'm going to use a musical analogy here. Let's pretend that Paul Heyman, I'm going to draw a parallel. It's going to sound strange at first, but stay with me. I'm going to draw a parallel between Paul Heyman and Ronnie James Dio. Okay? What Paul Heyman was doing in ECW was his Rainbow time period. Okay? Dio started in Rainbow. Actually, Dio started in a much smaller band called Elf. But Rainbow was the first band that gave Dio the platform where people knew who the fuck he really was. Paul Heyman, through ECW, became his first Rainbow, his first platform where people, as a promoter, as a manager type, truly got to see what this guy could do. And I'm talking about his painting, not about being on a stupid walkie cell phone as Paulie dangerously. What Paul Heyman did was painting. It's hard for me to explain the other way. The way ECW was presented was like no one before it or really anybody after it, because no one's been able to duplicate it. ECW was very special. Paul, of course, Rainbow wasn't the first stop for the infamous Ronnie James Dio. Then he went to Black Sabbath. Heyman took several steps before he wound up being the advocate. Understand that without Rainbow, Dio never becomes Black Sabbath. Dio never becomes Dio. Without ECW, Paul Heyman never becomes the advocate, never becomes the representation for Brock Lesnar, never becomes the representation for Roman Reigns. Now, as a businessman, did he fail? Oh, fuck yeah. But as an artist, he succeeded forever. And it allowed him to go on to make forever money. Paul Heyman is no different than Ronnie James Dio in Elf. And then he moved on to Rainbow. And then he moved on to Sabbath. And then he moved on to I am Ronnie James Dio. And here's my album, Holy Diver. I am Paul Heyman. I am just an advocate for Brock Cha-ching Lesnar. So, yeah, everything he did in ECW was not ultimately a failure. It only led the way to the greatest successes you could possibly wish for.
But I ask you something. We've had the great Todd Gordon on our show, right? If Todd
Yeah.
Gordon had the opportunity to have $5 million handed to him, Todd Gordon might have been the next Paul Heyman, yeah?
Todd Gordon didn't think exactly like Paul Heyman. I can't say what Todd Gordon would have. Maybe we can one day have him on again and ask him, if you had everything, how would you have done everything? I would love to hear his answer. But Paul Heyman, the way he did things, clearly left a huge thumbprint in the impression of pro wrestling fans forever. What was happening in ECW? Don't you ever scratch your head and wonder why, like, an intellectual, you always tell me I'm a pretty smart guy, or an intellectual like Phil Why is ECW our favorite promotion, Mike? Can you explain that to us? Because we would probably love to hear an explanation.
Oh,
There's something about.
I have the explanation, and I know what the
Okay.
answer is. I'll give you the explanation.
All right, let's see if it fits.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
All right, so again, I don't know Phil obviously as well as I know you, so I can only really speak for you, okay?
Right.
You've always been a very artistic person, right? And when you're artistic, you kind of don't stay in that lane that the majority of the people do, right? It just doesn't allow you to do that.
Right.
I mean, that goes back to the beginning of this entire show where that young girl who unfortunately had cancer and passed away, she was like this star because there's special. Listen, dude, there are special people on this world. Okay, and there's levels of special, right? I mean, look, dude, not to blow you up, but you have a special thing about you. There is something special about you, right? Artists mostly are. I'm not an artist. So, again, I'm different, right? But my point to you is, why were you going towards ECW? Because it was different. It wasn't mainstream. It was everybody's dirty little secret for a very long time. And I would almost fairly say once everybody caught on to it, like me, because everybody told me, Monte, go watch this. You got to watch this.
Right.
All of a sudden, it wasn't so special anymore. And then all of a sudden, it became a business, right?
Right.
And then it failed. It died.
I'll tell you what gravitated me towards it, okay? And yes, it was a special little niche, and yes, it was a dirty little secret. But what I loved about it is understand the time period. Not only is, ECW is obviously first and foremost remembered for, hardcore violence, okay? Yes, they were completely changing the way everything was done with tables, ladders, chairs. We all know what happened shortly thereafter with Vince adopting a lot of the things that ECW did on the hardcore approach. But this was the real thing that really caught me. It wasn't just the hardcore or the fact that they relied completely on their own original characters, because that meant a lot too. But really what got me was Rob Van Dam versus Jerry Lynn. Not only did this company have the most brutal matches, they had the best mat wrestling in the world. And it blew my mind that this little company had this, because Rob Van Dam versus Jerry Lynn, you remember way back, several years back, we did our 10 favorite matches each.
Yep.
Rob Van Dam versus Jerry Lynn was in my top 10.
I remember that.
And I will say it again. It's still in my top 10, because what they were doing in 1998 and 99, they were doing better than anybody else in any company, what Rob Van Dam and Jerry Lynn were doing there. Okay, so it wasn't just the hardcore. It was the wrestling itself. They had the best of it. They had Rob Van Dam there, for God's sakes, as well as Sandman and Raven and Taz and the Dudley Boys and everybody else. I mean, Shane Douglas was so great in ECW. So great. So they had all this stuff going on.
Jimmy, quick comment from Foxy. I love this comment, okay? Foxy says, ability does what it can, talent does what it must. I love that.
Right. Yeah. It's true. Listen, Paul was a crappy businessman. We've had many of. It's no coincidence some of our favorite guests come from the ECW company. They're the best guys. They're the realest guys. But Heyman wasn't the best businessman. Heyman had great ideas, though. Heyman was a revolutionary as far as his ideas. He was a terrible businessman, obviously, but it all worked out for him in the end because his paintings became worth so damn much.
Real quick, Jimmy. R.J. Hudson's asking, was Jeremy Sutton supposed to come on the show? Jimmy told me he's been speaking to texting Jeremy on Instagram, and Jeremy wanted to talk about Kevin Scampoli. We went over it, and I kind of nixed it, and Jimmy, being one half of the show, agreed with me. So, no, we will not have Jeremy Sutton on the show. Scampoli.
Yeah, stop giving out my number. I don't want anybody texting me anymore, Mike. Thanks.
Scampoli is in our rear view mirror. So unfortunately, seems like a very nice guy, but we are not going. We got bigger fish to fry. We got a lot of big interviews coming up, and again, we got a lot more to talk about. Again, so we're going to move on from that. 3 things I got from the documentary, Jimmy. I'd like you to speak on. Heyman spoke about every moment of every second of every minute can be traumatic for a Holocaust survivor. His mother was a Holocaust survivor. And when she looked at Paul, she never gave him credit. And he tells the quick story of when she'd go to dinner with the father, who was a famous lawyer in the city. She used to say to him, and he was 7 years old, if I get in a car accident and me and your father died, move forward. Be ready at all times. Thoughts on that, Jimmy?
You know, I remember one time I made the mistake of saying the word hate coming home after school. My grandfather was staying with us, and I said something about some kid in school. I hate so and so. And you know, being raised by Jewish folk, my grandfather got really serious with me, and took me for a little private meeting about the word hate. I don't want to get into too much of it, but he basically told me, "You have no fucking clue what hate is. You don't use that word. I don't care if you hate so and so in school.
Right.
You know, that word means a lot more than you think it means. Don't throw it around like that." I was raised to always be prepared for the worst. Always. I guess they call that Jewish realism, but I just call it realism. You know, understanding the human nature. You know, with all the people who say, "Well, what about me? What about my movement? What about my feelings? What about this? What about 6 million people killed by Adolf Hitler? What about that?" So funny how that, for some reason, you know, we'll bring the president from Iran over here and he can tell a lie about how it never happened. So,
well,
that's okay.
I'm a pretty religious. No, you're not. I'm a pretty religious.
I'm being sarcastic here.
No, you're not. No, you're not. You're not being sarcastic.
Yeah.
Being a religious person, especially on the Catholic side of it, if you really understand religion, you got to understand where the Jews are placed on this planet, right? They are God's chosen people, and there's a level of respect for that, right? Christ himself was a Jew, so I mean, we talk about religion, and I think the reason I say you're not kidding, Jimmy, is because, again, we could go back to the beginning of the show, how certain things are okay, but other things or whatever. And, you know, what this country has seen in the last year, especially with the Jewish religion, the hate against the Jewish religion is disgusting. To me, it's disgusting. And,
it is disgusting.
And to any person, it should be disgusting. You know, and,
Agreed.
you know, again, it's a big deal. You know, there's more important shit than wrestling, guys. There really is. There's a lot more important shit than wrestling. And more important shit than millionaire baseball players and millionaire football players. There's a lot more shit here, you know?
Right. Yeah.
It's you know what, dude? This girl, we'll go back to the beginning of the show, this girl, Nightbird, she should have had more influence on this country and this world than friggin' LeBron James. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is a girl who faced cancer and shed positivity on it, you know?
Right. Well, not to make light of it, but remember when you put out the video when Karen and I got married, and it was like, you know, but then somebody puts out a video of Chris Benoit, and it's like, oh my God, Chris Benoit, Chris Benoit. You know what I mean? It's like we just got married, and people are like, oh, that's nice, whatever, good luck, mazel tov. But Chris Benoit, oh my God, Chris Benoit. People are fucking crazy, dude. The girl that died of cancer, you know, the one with the amazing voice that you brought up at the beginning of the program, she should have been the one getting $212 million like Tua from the Dolphins just got without ever winning a playoff game.
There you go, brother. That's a pretty good idea.
$212 million, Mike.
Unbelievable.
For 4 years.
He may be worth it, though. I think that he's going to get them to the Super Bowl.
Would you stop it? What do you mean he may be worth it? Just stop. I mean, if he's worth that, what would Namath worth? $1 billion? Come on, man. You know what? We got all our priorities wrong. We overpay athletes. Everything is just way overrated. Hell, we overpay Hollywood. We should stop going to movies. But I know that would just paralyze half of us. I can't watch a movie. I don't like your stance on Israel.
Number 2 out of the documentary, Paul Heyman decided to have children after 9/11 as he realized his mortality, and he wanted to make sure that his children knew his parents. Thoughts on that?
9/11 was the worst. I'm sorry. I mean, we were 33 the year that, 33 going on 34 when 9/11 happened. And I draw my life completely in half. I've had two American lives. I've had the American life of 1967 to September 11th of 2001, and everything since is the second life because it's just been completely different. My mood changed that day, and it stayed that way because the justice was not, in my mind, ever served. In the old days when evil showed its face, whether it was Hitler or Mussolini or Napoleon, whoever it may have been, they were wiped the fuck out. And on 9/11, we did not see them wiped the fuck out on September 12th or 13th or 14th. I mean, shit, Hamas has representatives now. Hamas runs governments, don't they? I get that. What the fuck is going on here? What is going on here? Okay, because you got to kill a virus. If you let the virus spread, and yeah, it's a virus. They want to kill everybody who doesn't think like them. This includes everybody from every background. We should all be alarmed at this instead of liberal Lanny standing on the corner like screaming about their rights. What are you talking about? They'll blow you up. You don't look like them or think like them. You're going to defend them. They're going to kill you, you idiot. You don't recognize the ideology by now? It's like, seriously, the enemy is so obvious, and where they hide and who they're being funded by, to me, is pretty obvious too. You see, Churchill and Roosevelt would have gotten together on 9/11 and said, show me the terrorist list. Oh, look, 19 of the 22 names are from Saudi Arabia. Get the plane. Is the bomb ready?
I got
September 12th, the bomb gets dropped. Guess what? Oh, that was mean. You shouldn't have done that. What, so we couldn't save the lives that terrorism has taken for the last 23 years since? And that's going to take more in the future because you refuse to meet the bad guy with bad guy tactics? To beat the enemy, you must become the enemy. Hello, no one wants to do it. Do you really think we wanted to go in and do
because
what
Jimmy,
we
we're
had
not
to do?
even doing it on the lowest level. You've
No,
got people that
we're
have
not.
trained their entire lives to be in the Olympics, and then you put them against a male. It's like,
Right.
what are you doing? We can't even control the lowest things. You expect us
we're
to
gone.
cover that? This is
We're
insanity.
gone. We're gone. And I heard something recently too, and I thought it was, and I know it's true. One of the agents that was working behind the scenes was actually happened to be there when the interpreter was telling the leader of Hamas what Trump had to say to him. Now, this is when Trump was in charge, and Trump said, "Withdraw the way we ask you to withdraw, and if you harm a single head on any American, I will kill you." And the translator looked at Trump like, "You want me to tell him this?" And Trump said, "Tell him that." And as the translator was telling the leader of Hamas, "You better do this as we say, or we will kill you," Trump dropped an overhead satellite picture of the leader's house into his hands and walked out of the room. Because that's how you deal with murderers.
Again,
do what we say.
you've got
we're going to wipe your ass out.
half of society wouldn't agree with you. I happen to agree with you, but I'd say
No.
unfortunately,
You don't
half
tell
of
the guy
society
it's
doesn't.
okay to keep killing
I
everybody.
agree.
Okay? What is there to disagree with anyway here?
So we
all right, they're trying to kill anyone who doesn't think like them.
We know.
Period.
We know
that includes crazy liberals.
And then we know that the final thing is that Paul Heyman,
Jesus.
after the WWE, was the great Brock Lesnar's manager on social media and beyond. I guess my point was this. Paul Heyman had it from the beginning, right? At 16 years old, he found his way into Madison Square Garden. He was in the China Club. He was promoting. But I will tell you this. Paul Heyman also had the hand of God on his side. If you gave me $5 million, I could tell you something, my friend. I could do a lot with that, and it would have been crazy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, again, I'm not trying to downplay the talent Paul Heyman is. All I'm saying is he's no Vince McMahon. That's what I'm trying to say. He's not even in that playing field.
No, he's not, because Vince was not only, more often than not, whether people like to hear this or not, that's too bad. But more often than not, he was a creative genius, and he was pretty much always a business genius. Paul was a creative genius with lousy business sense. You know?
All right,
So
here's,
it's
here's
just,
a
you know,
really
there's really no
important.
comparison.
Here's a really important subject. Abe, you got to put up the racy photo. Can you find it? Samantha Irvin broke the internet again after bearing
God.
all her
Who cares?
all cares, dude. My God,
don't
on social
care.
media. In
What-
just a
what
few
did she
weeks
do?
after driving the
show her
internet
ring rope?
wild in a racy photo, Samantha Irvin's gone a step further and went almost entirely nude on a Hump Day
Wow.
series, dude.
Whoopee.
My
That's
God,
great.
dude. I'm telling
That's
you,
great.
it's shut. Look, despite only being posted 9 hours ago at the time of writing, the photo has already attracted 220,000 likes.
Oh, I'll show you. I'll drape my hair over my nipples and get 220 views. Just you watch.
Abe, I think if
There
you
you go,
just
right
put Samantha Irvin, like, naked picture
I won't see
or
it
something.
Anyway. Who cares?
Oh, you'll see it on when you
Big
watch
deal.
it after the show. Dude,
Oh,
Samantha
yeah,
Irvin
big
is
deal.
smoking, dude.
Would you stop it? Who cares?
There it is. Oh, my God.
Oh,
He's putting
God,
it
who
up.
cares?
I just have to take a moment,
That's
Jimmy.
great.
I have to take a moment with this.
Yeah, right. And as you look at that, Mike, I want look at the picture. Hey, leave the picture up. Mike, as you're looking at that, I want to do a voice for you while you look at her. Go ahead, look at her and think about how hot she is.
Go ahead. I'm thinking.
And my name is Joe McHugh.
Oh, stop it. Will you
What do you think?
please? No.
What do you think? I'd rather have Joe McHugh any day than that ham hock.
Samantha Irvin's a goat. Stop it.
Oh, stop. She's not the goat. Get out of here. You're delusional. Stop it.
In AEW news, Bryan Danielson puts his career on the line against the championship at All In. Thoughts on that? Bryan Danielson gonna retire if he loses. What do you think, buddy?
Good, retire because I'm already not looking forward to hearing you complaining about your headaches 10 years from now. You know, just retire. Stop it. Who cares? Oh boy, Bryan Danielson. Is it Will Ospreay? Is he fighting Ospreay again?
You should be in a much more jovial mood, man, considering you're at the gathering right now.
I'm trapped in a Hilton hotel without the ability to smoke cigarettes right now.
You know what?
do you think
I was worried about. You're so used to smoking
What do you
during the
think's
show.
gonna happen?
Oh my God. Mercedes Moné says Camille is a new member of the Moné Corporation in AEW on July 24th episode. Camille made her debut aligned with the TBS champion Mercedes Moné attacking Britt Baker. You're not impressed with Camille, huh?
I'm not impressed with any of these jabronis. A bunch of crap. Who cares?
Wow.
Yeah. Oh boy, Sasha Banks is going to AEW. She's gonna move the needle. She's gonna move the needle. You'll see. Mercedes Moné. Oh, but this plays into her CEO thing, and she's going to start a faction. Yeah, subtraction faction is what it should be.
Wow.
Because they're subtracting viewers by the week. Who cares? I don't care at all. Mercedes Moné, you suck.
You know, I know you're funny when Abe chuckles in the back. I know you.
Yeah, I know. I can always hear Abe bellowing in the background.
All right,
it's
man.
funny.
Here we go.
Yeah.
We're reaching the end of the show. SummerSlam this
Yeah.
Saturday. By the way, Monte and Pharaoh will be doing a SummerSlam post show at 11:30. Me and Jimmy were on. You're at the gathering. You're taking pictures. You're gonna have a good time.
Yeah. I won't even be able to see the damn
Catch
thing.
Jimmy and
live.
I on ESPN where we gave our predictions, but now we're doing that on the Monte and Pharaoh show. Me and Jimmy both had over 24 hours to maybe rethink about what we think. So.
I take it back.
Well, you can. You still have that right. That's the best part of this, right?
Okay.
United States champion Paul Logan against LA Knight. How's this turning out, buddy?
I'm afraid they're going to give it to LA Knight, but I wouldn't. I want Logan Paul. So, what? I got to make a prediction. I'm making observations. Wait, who do you think's going to win?
So my thought process is this. I think we discussed this on ESPN, right?
Got to give it to LA Knight.
Can't have too many title changes, dude.
Yeah, but what are you going to do with LA Knight? What are you going to do with him? He's got to win the belt and then let Logan go on to Cody.
All right, so then you're saying Orton doesn't turn heel then?
Why am I saying Orton doesn't turn heel? What,
well, if Logan Paul's going
program?
on to Cody, then what do you do with Randy? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Listen, I totally understand.
Wait a minute. Randy could turn heel on LA Knight. What's the matter who Randy turns heel on?
You really want Randy going for the the United
They
States
should wait
Championship.
they should wait for Randy to turn heel on Cena when he does his final shebang. He is the Joker to Cena's Batman.
All right, so your observation is you're saying I really think they should keep it on Logan Paul?
I think Logan Paul. We figure we should keep it on Logan Paul, but I don't know what this means for LA Knight. Obviously,
I'm going to agree with you. I think it stays on
You
Logan
know.
Paul, and I think LA Knight goes to where he belongs. Look, LA Knight
Where does he go?
He's a bit player, dude. He's a bit player.
He's not, though. If you look at the way he is, look, I actually have more respect to his level of over than Jey Uso because once you end with, I'll tell you why. Because once you end with everybody doing this and Jay starts talking, they're just yelling yeet. With LA Knight, they seem to like him more than Jey Uso.
Interesting.
He has more it factor than Jey Uso.
You know
Don't
what?
tell me that.
You know what? I'm changing my mind. It's got to be LA Knight. I was just thinking, like,
It has to be.
you know, it has to be because it's like they owe this guy at this point. He's failed in every
They
turn.
do. Dude, he's done well, man. I think he's upper tier.
All
He's
right.
not,
Fine.
Cody, but come on.
So we're going with LA Knight.
I hate it, though, because Logan Paul's the man. I wouldn't take the belt off.
I wouldn't either, but we're both agreeing LA Knight.
We're not agreeing on anything. What we're agreeing is that this match is very interesting. That's what we're agreeing to. It is. Look, I hate doing that. I'm not going to, not enjoy myself. Oh, crap. Look,
Again,
won now. I'm an idiot.
if you take yourself super serious that you're guessing someone's script good,
I know.
there's nothing involved there. But
All right,
it's okay to pick somebody.
For the sake that we don't want too many title changes, obviously you can't have everybody change the belts, then I would say it would be wise to let Logan hold it.
See, that's my problem because as I look at the list, I see title changes all the way down this card. So it's like,
I know.
how could you know
That's
what?
the
I'm
problem.
going back again. I'm sticking with Logan Paul.
Yeah, it's rough, dude. I mean, I think they should keep it on Logan. LA Knight could just as easily win it, bro. I'm not going to sit here and say I know what the fuck they're going to do.
Intercontinental Championship, Sami Zayn, Braun Breaker.
Now this one has to be Braun. I can't take it. There better not be any other way than Braun walking out of there.
By the way,
period.
CBS had
Enough.
Dragunov in this match. I don't know why. When I looked it up, they're like
Dragunov?
they had a three-way. I'm like, what is that all about?
You know what a shame his hard work is being lost here. Dragunov has been great so far in the ring.
The guy's getting a lot of airtime. I don't think there's anything wrong there. It's fine.
Dragunov's cool, man.
I'm agreeing with you. This has got to be
you
a
gotta give
Braun
it to Braun.
Breaker deal, and I'm going to stick to the whole
Right.
Sami Zayn.
Which is why that LA Knight thing kind of fucks me up. It's like, Braun has to win this. I mean,
Yes.
how many belts are changing that night?
You can't have all these title changes. It would be be unbelievable.
I don't think so. All
right. So we're in agreement there. All right. This one's another tough one, man. CM Punk against Drew McIntyre. Special guest referee Seth Rollins.
The Rollins is going to fuck this whole match up somehow. Somehow this is going to be thrown out, or whatever it is, it's going to result in a three-way between the three of them at the next pay-per-view. I just got that feeling, But Drew needs some goddamn closure. But Punk, this is his first in-ring match in 10.5 years. This thing's got to get blown up. They're all going to wind up killing each other in a three-way or something, So I almost don't see a winner. I would love it though if Shane McMahon came out.
I want us to think, because you and I always speak after these. They go, Mike, we didn't use our common sense here. I said this time, me and Jimmy going in this with common sense. So I just want to special guest referees at SummerSlam. Ventura.
Yeah.
Ventura, even though he didn't want it, he called it straight down the middle. Right. I think that's what happened. I'm trying to think of other special. Oh, Shawn Michaels wanted Undertaker to win, but screwed up and hit Undertaker and that. So
Seth hates both these guys.
I know this is a tough one.
So here's your deal though. Common sense. LA Knight. Common sense.
Yeah.
All right. What was the match we just went over?
Braun Breaker.
Common sense Breaker. So far, common sense LA Knight, common sense Breaker, common sense Drew McIntyre. But if you went on common sense last time with Drew McIntyre, Punk ran out. And you add in the fact that this is Punk's first in-ring match in 10.5 years in WWE. Is he going to lose it?
I'm going with them turning on Seth and they both beating the crap out of Seth. That Seth gets so involved and it gets blown up and we get the double DQ.
I think the whole thing's going to get thrown out and turn into a massive brawl, and they'll be back for bad blood.
Agreed.
All three of them.
Agreed. But I'm still sticking with Logan Paul. Right now you see Braun Breaker winning the title.
Yeah, he better. Oh my God. Yeah.
All right, World Heavyweight Championship. Damian Priest against Gunther.
Gunther. And you know what's weird? The Judgment Day right now is so fragmented. There are a couple of faces in the group, and the rest are bad. They're heels. So this has all got to break apart one way or the other.
Agreed.
Gunther is the man, and this is payback for having to put over Sami goddamn Zayn. So let's go with Gunther, and Gunther, by all means, do this for this beautiful sport.
Beautiful. And I'll stick to the point that earlier in the card that Damian Priest will somehow get involved in the Rhea Ripley match, but on the face side to help Rhea. But somehow Judgment Day is going to beat the crap out of Damian Priest. And so Priest will go into this match not 100%, and that kind of gives Priest that out.
Finn, Dominic, and Liv are going to be good buddies.
Absolutely.
That's just where I feel this is
so
going.
Now we have 2 title changes so far with a possible third, which just can't be. I don't think there's ever been a card like that where titles have just changed every time, right?
Yeah.
WWE Women's Championship match. Bayley defends against Nia Jax. With Tiffany Stratton waiting in the rings with the Money in the Bank briefcase.
Common sense, Nia should win this. Will Nia win this? I mean, there's that little thing I talked about on ESPN. Does Tiffany Stratton really, holding that briefcase, want Nia to be champion? Be a lot harder to beat Nia than it would Bayley, unless she helps Nia win, and then she cracks Nia in the head with the briefcase and gets a pin. Are we doing that yet? I like your idea that you came up with. I don't know if you said it on ESPN or we were talking about it afterwards or both, but that Nia gets her flowers, like you said, and Tiffany slowly, they stay friends, but start to show hints of maybe
right.
No, you know what I mean? Bam. So I'm going to go with that. I do think that common sense Nia should walk out of there with that and let that play out for a while.
This is the one I feel everybody's expecting the Stratton cash in. It's too early. It's too early. They're going to build
I'd like
this.
more out of it.
And this is the one title I'm 100. Like when we come back this week, again, this is the one I guarantee Bayley's not coming out champion. This one, Nia is going to be champion, and she's going to have her little henchman Tiffany walking with that case, and eventually it's going to happen. To have Stratton cash in on either Bayley or Nia on Saturday. Is number one, it's a bad move. It's just a bad move.
It's just instant gratification. What do you do after that? Yeah.
This one I'm guaranteeing is going away. We're saying it, Jimmy. This one, I agree. The other women's championship, the world championship match, Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley.
Good stuff. Liv's going to be with the Judgment Day. The Judgment Day is going to. Rhea will be gone, and so will they're both. Rhea and Damian obviously are both been acting more like faces anyway. Damian's an interesting face. I don't know what to make of Damian, but Rhea's clearly loved by the fans and everything like that, while the other half of Judgment Day is totally despised. I feel like Rhea's, Dom and Finn, especially Finn, he's going to help her. Liv's going to somehow get out of this, and she's going to join the Judgment Day. I mean, that would be great script because Liv is a great villain. And it would make for great, Rhea going nuts and going after the Judgment Day with, who knows how that'll play out, but it'd be pretty cool.
So let's look at the other way. If Rhea was to win the women's title, you'll be ending probably one of the greatest storylines that we've seen, if not ever, a long time.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. This one, even Coach said it the right way, Jimmy. Even though it's predictable, it has to happen, and we'll all be satisfied with it, right?
Oh, I know we will be, but as far as common sense goes, Rhea's red effing hot. Put the belt on her. Rhea should beat her. I'm talking about common sense. We've been using that as a backup thing here, during our summarization of these matches. Common sense, Rhea should win this match. Okay?
But wait a minute. But business-wise, though, Jimmy, business-wise, there's more in the chase on this one, man. And you could, Rhea's as hot as it can. You're just going to put her even higher, right?
I agree, man. It's the chase is the long lost art that is usually the beauty of a heavyweight championship is the chase. You know, I mean, look at Ric Flair all those years with whether Dusty was chasing him or Tommy Rich was chasing him, whoever was Barry Windham was whoever was chasing him. It was the chase.
Look at
You
Cody.
know?
Look at Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, who's chasing him? This has all been predictable.
No, but I'm talking about the chase
When
with Roman.
Cody was chasing.
Yeah.
Right. Bingo, brother. Bingo. Of course. Bingo. Yep. The chase. It's not the kill. It's the thrill of the chase. Name that song. Name that song, Mike.
It's not the kill, but it's a thrill.
It's not the kill. It's the thrill of the chase.
It's Deep Purple.
Come
isn't
on,
it?
man.
Is that Deep Purple?
There you go.
I thought
Knocking
so.
at your back door.
That's right.
There you go.
Well, once you sang it,
Very
I knew
good,
it.
man.
All right, here's the
go.
most tricky one, Jimmy. Undisputed WWE Championship. Cody Rhodes, Solo Sikoa. I'll open this one up because I'll just start it saying this way.
Yeah.
Because obviously everybody's focused on this match for the main reason, I think, is they're expecting Roman Reigns to come back. If this is the opening match, Roman Reigns is not coming back, right?
I agree with that.
Now, let's play it under the premise that this is the main event and it's the final match.
Mm-hmm.
Here's my question to you. If Solo loses, or it's a double disqualification and the bloodline jumps on Cody and they're beating the hell out of him and, Kevin Owens and Randy Orton are hurt, whatever. Why would Roman come out to help Cody? He hates Cody. That would make no sense. It's stupid.
I'm not feeling Roman coming back yet. I know
either.
everybody wants. I'm not feeling it. I don't feel it yet. You know what? The only way Solo could win the title, which to me would be ridiculous, but if Solo did win the title, I would much more expect to see The Rock help him get it than Roman. Why would Roman help him? Solo has anointed himself the head of the tribe, the head of the table. I mean, why the hell would Roman Reigns help him? We got to wait. We got to let that simmer. We got to let that. We can't. It's premature. It feels premature. If anybody's going to help Solo get his hands on that title, it'll be The Rock.
Yeah, but
And then when Roman comes back, Roman's going to be going after that title. It'll make more sense.
But
what?
Let me ask you something. Hold on. Isn't the money in The Rock though? Like, I'm fully anticipating The Rock is going to come back and beat Cody Rhodes for this title before WrestleMania.
I don't feel that. I feel like WrestleMania. I don't know if you'll ever get your Rock versus Cody Rhodes.
No, I'm talking Roman Rock, right? But
the only way for that to happen is somehow for Roman to remain away from, the whole faction, and just be. What is he going to return? Which is Tim and Paul Heyman. I mean, when Roman comes back, how does this work? Do the Usos just suddenly see, because Jimmy's been missing and Jay's obviously a face now? Does he come back with the Usos to fight against the bloodline? Is Solo champion by the time that Roman returns? Does Roman not get vengeance against Cody? I guess he beat him the first time. Cody beat him the second time.
You know what, Jimmy? You're a genius.
It's only shit to try to think of.
You're a genius. You just gave the ending of the match. I just figured it out. You're a fucking genius.
Well, we know that.
Cody Rhodes is going to beat Solo Sikoa. The bloodline is going to start beating up Cody Rhodes. Jimmy is going to make his return. Jimmy's going to get his ass kicked. Here comes Jay. Jay's going to get his ass kicked. And then
here comes
Roman. You just figured it out on this show.
Yeah.
That is it. Roman's not coming out to help Cody. He's coming out to help the Usos.
Right.
Hence,
that's what needs to happen.
War games.
Bloodline must go against bloodline. Real tribal chief must fight fake tribal chief. So yes, I think that with the Usos, the fact that they're already beloved and people been dying. It's so funny. Roman tried for years and Vince tried for years to get Roman over as a face. And now in his absence, after the greatest heel run we've probably seen in decades, now he's beloved. Now the fans are ready to cheer him. Hilarious to me. Hilarious. It's so ironic. But you know what? He will come back eventually and he will go against the fake tribal chief because Solo sucks balls. Boo. Now I do love Jacob Fatu though. I will say that.
I like Bloodline 2.0, but now I'm a
I
little bit
understand.
disappointed
To
because
get the job done.
that's not the return that I'm expecting from Roman. But it makes
Right.
you just figured it out. You're going to have these
We'll
returns,
see.
and that's going to be it. Again, it's
Yeah.
all null and void if this is the first match of the night, which it possibly can be. They've had,
Right.
a lot of people don't remember that Roman used to wrestle in the opening matches defending his
Yeah.
Universal title.
Yeah, they've
People
done
are
it
like, oh, no,
before.
he did it quite often. He was the
They've done it
first in,
before.
first out, right? So,
Yes.
yeah.
Done it before.
RJ Hudson's going, what if Brock comes back instead?
See, now that's what I'm actually looking for because, and I said that on ESPN with you. Where was Heyman? And again, yes, I obsessed over Heyman, but like I said on ESPN, Paul Heyman has been the mouthpiece for the World Heavyweight Championship for decades now. We're on 2 decades of this. That if you're world champion, it's most likely that Paul Heyman is speaking for you.
But wait a minute.
Okay?
Why is Brock coming out in this match? Why? What reason?
Because Paul Heyman is going to get back at that ungrateful, disgusting, fake tribal chief and his fake false followers that the real tribal chief never gave them the blessing to be a part of. He's going to just go, you'll beat him up. You'll beat up Heyman terribly. He's going to bring out the train. And I could see it happening. I really could. I could see just on Heyman alone. If it's just about Heyman, because you could still bring.
If Brock comes out, can I add on that? What's this
Oh, my God.
possibility? Brock comes out with Heyman,
Yeah.
but somehow the Bloodline gets the upper hand, and then they start. And then they turn their attention towards Heyman, and then Roman comes out.
Well, if you put Roman and Brock together, this is the most powerful, explosive thing I've seen since Hogan and Savage.
Absolutely. Now, how crazy would we get for that?
I don't even know.
If I'm the
what to say
Bloodline,
about
I'm taking a
something like
powder
that.
right there.
Yeah. That would really be something. But I'm only thinking about it from the Heyman angle. Heyman's got to get revenge for what they did to him. And I guess that really should only occur through the tribal chief, although I love the idea of Brock reappearing. I'd love to see it. I love Lesnar. I want Lesnar to come back. Of course I do.
Does the WWE need that type of ending to this card to blow the roof off the
Need
place?
that type of ending? I wouldn't advise against it. I think that it would be a wise idea. Look, it's one of your biggest shows. It's really your second biggest show traditionally for the last 35 years, 36 years or whatever. You should end it that every huge show should have an ending like, oh my God, if I miss Raw, I'll kill. What am I doing? I can't miss Raw, So yeah, that should be a holy shit ending every time, especially in major pay-per-views, premium live events.
Maybe Gilbert will come back.
Don't you laugh, man. Gilbert's downstairs. I said a little before.
Did you really? All right.
Yep.
We're done here. I want you. What are your plans for the gathering this week? Tell everybody.
That's a good question. I mean, come on down to the gathering at the Hilton here in Charlotte, North Carolina. Woo! Karen's got a table. She'll be selling the Wahoo books, and I've got the T-shirts, thanks to Mr. Monte, and the business cards and all that stuff. And Karen's got some really awesome robes. I get to be privy to watch her make the robes, and that takes months. Oh my God.
Quick question.
Then I get to be the robe model.
That's awesome.
You must laugh your ass just thinking about that.
That's awesome, bro.
Put this on. I'm like twirling around. Woo!
Let me ask you this: is Andrew
I'm silly.
Anderson with his valet, Miss Karen? Is Miss Karen with him?
I haven't seen Andrew yet, but he's wrestling. I think Big Vito on Saturday, and the second I see him, I'm going to be like, dude, if you put him over, I'm going to be so annoyed at you. I want Andrew. Andrew better not be putting over Big Vito.
Dude,
this weekend.
I think you'll be signing a lot of autographs yourself on this whole event. It's going to be a bit crazy.
People have recognized me. Security recognized me earlier. I had to run. Told them I had to run.
I want to remind everybody next week we got Hall of Famer DDP will be joining Monte and the Pharaoh, and then the following week have a surprise guest.
It's me. It's DDP.
I know you're going to say that, and I'm just going to be like, Jesus Christ Almighty. By the way,
I know you hate when I do it.
Hannibal had what's her name on? Kimberly Page on today. She is still beautiful, dude. Still beautiful.
Kimberly Page, very nice.
And what's
I
amazing
hate
is
Hannibal.
they're
He's
Hey,
inedible.
is Hannibal there? Oh no, he's still on house arrest. That's right. He can't get out.
I
of his
don't think
house.
they would have let him into the state, to tell you the truth.
He's still
but that's
living with
okay.
mommy and daddy.
Is he?
Yeah, 40
Wow.
40-something years old.
Man,
Living with mommy and daddy.
unbelievable. That's rough.
But he's big
That
and
really
strong.
is.
But he's big and strong.
He is?
Yeah, he's big and
Well,
strong.
he's a growing boy. Give him a little credit.
He's big and strong, but he lives with mommy
a
and
growing
daddy.
boy. That's
He lives with
great.
mommy and his daddy and his little dog Piper.
Mommy, there's an airplane up in the sky.
I knew you.
This is really bad, dude.
Oh my
Really bad.
God.
I'm quoting Pink Floyd The Wall.
Oh
That's
my
great.
God. Dude, we got to make a video of
Right.
Hannibal doing that. Mommy, there's an airplane in the sky.
Oh my God. That's terrible.
That is a
Say
classic.
his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. Dude, that guy's the man. I
Dude.
don't know what happened. I got the Joe Hendry bug. What's happening
I
here?
think everybody's got the Joe Henry bug.
Dude,
Anyway,
take that guy's smile, man. What a profile. He's a
that
winner.
whole gimmick when they play the song, he turns around and shows his face is
I
badass.
know,
It's just
right?
badass. It's badass.
You just gotta know you're great. Like if he watched that on playback, he was like, "Yeah, I'm great."
And by
Oh,
the
yeah.
way, you know what I saw on YouTube?
You know.
Tommaso Ciampa in the WWE with like hair. I guess he played a lawyer. My God,
Oh, God,
what
that
a good-looking guy.
I forgot about that.
What
Well,
a
with those
good-looking guy.
With those piercing blue Champa eyes.
Oh my God, what did he
You're
do to
making
himself?
me nervous, Mike.
What did he
Making me a
do
little
to
nervous here.
himself?
Nothing. He looks like a psycho when he has that one certain look. I mean, look how different Karrion Kross looks with hair compared to that other look. You know what I mean? It's like, it's totally different, dude. Totally. Whatever.
Karrion Kross is just, that guy's packed. I'm sorry, he's packed it in. When I
You know
mean
what's
packed
funny?
it in, he's like, hey, I'm glad to be in the WWE. This rocks. Me and my wife dig it, and I'm having a good time.
Yeah.
He's not one of these guys that wants a title. You know what I'm saying?
Every time I see Ellering with them, I can't help but think that Ellering's thinking to himself, well, they're paying me a lot. I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing here, but I'm here.
No,
I'm Paul
I
Ellering.
feel like this. I feel like Ellering's got that paper in his hand. He's telling him, don't worry, I made the Road Warriors what they are. You guys are just like
is
them.
not.
Yes, he is. I'm telling you.
telling him.
He's blowing
No,
smoke
he's-
so much up their ass.
He is
You guys, you remind me of the Warriors when they were younger. You're gonna be great. I'm telling you
Really?
right now.
Because I think that this is why he's in the company. Paul, my grandkid needs braces. Can I, Yeah, okay, Ellering, you can come on for a year or two. It's all right, He needs braces, really expensive braces.
And
I can't think of any other reason.
let's not
Paul
forget
Ellering
about
is dead.
Scarlett. It's like you took one of the hottest women on the planet and you made her
Right.
plain.
Right.
Plain.
Right.
You made her a brunette.
Right.
Yeah, you're plain now.
Dude, remember how much you loved Camille? Now
Oh.
she's with the CEO of shit.
Yeah.
It's like she never went anywhere. I thought she might go somewhere. Wait a minute, wasn't she with all this as far as on screen for a while there? Camille?
She might have been, yeah.
What the hell? How did she not wind up on SmackDown or something? Oh, that's right. All this doesn't wrestle anymore. I don't get it.
What are you gonna do? All right, Jimmy, from the gathering, send us out, buddy.
You've been watching Monte and the Pharaoh, and until next time, from Charlotte, North Carolina. Later.
I want to tell everybody we love you out there.